In 2016, a video appeared online. It showed hooded figures in the courtyard of CERN, standing right in front of that massive statue of Shiva. The figures began to circle, then they started chanting, and then you noticed a young lady dressed in white laying down on the ground. And in the glow of a single camera, it appeared that she was stabbed. The video looked just like an occult ritual, a human sacrifice performed at the most advanced scientific laboratory in the world. And CERN's official response, well, they said it was just a prank. But you have to ask yourself, what if it wasn't? What if the world's largest science experiment is also the world's largest ritual? Welcome back, listeners and watchers, to another dark and disturbing episode of Relative Perspective. As always, I'm your host, Stephen, and tonight is part 2 to our deep dive into CERN, the 17-mile underground machine accused of everything from tearing apart reality to summoning entities from the abyss. Last time, we looked at science conspiracies. You had the black holes, you had the Mandela effect, you had portals in the sky, even whispers of alien technology that's powering that collider. But tonight we're going deeper, because behind all that science, there could be something a lot stranger going on there. An entire layer of occult symbolism, prophecy, and ancient parallels that make CERN look less like a laboratory and more like a temple. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear, it's not just about science. It's about sacrifice, it's about prophecy, and it's about mankind once again trying to outdo God. But before we get started, I want to remind you about tonight's Paranormal Confession at the end of this episode. Tonight's confession comes from a guy by the name of Nathan. Nathan swears to see his brother standing there staring at him, but the crazy thing is, he doesn't think that was his brother. And hey, if you've got your own paranormal confession, you can either put it down in the comments below, or you can email me at relativeperspective76@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your story, and who knows, maybe you'll hear it in a future episode. All right, let's step into the shadows. Now, in 2004, India gave CERN a gift, a 6-foot-tall bronze statue of Shiva. To Hindus, Shiva's dance represents destruction and rebirth. But for a lab accused of opening black holes and tearing reality apart, having that statue there, the symbolism seems kind of unsettling to me. Because like I said before, Shiva, he's not just a dancer, he's a destroyer. And here he sits, right in CERN's front yard, frozen mid-dance in a ring of fire. Now, I want you to think about that. You have Shiva dancing in a circle of flames, and directly beneath that statue, CERN runs its experiments in another circle, a 17-mile ring of energy buried deep underground. You have 2 circles, 2 dances, one of fire and the other of reality's building blocks. For many theorists, this wasn't just a gift, it was a signal. They felt like this was a statement that CERN's mission is destruction followed by their creation. Now, I don't know about you, but this is what I look. Out of all the statues that these guys could have picked, they could have gone with like Gandhi or freaking Einstein. Hell, I'd have even gone with Mr. Bean, but they chose the freaking god of destruction. It's crazy to me. Okay, in 2016, there was a grainy video that leaked onto the internet. We spoke about this a little bit in the beginning. It showed cloaked figures in CERN's courtyard standing right in front of that Shiva statue. A woman was slowly brought into that circle. She gently laid down on the ground. A guy walked towards her and stabbed her. The footage was shaky, like it was filmed from above in an office window right above where they were doing this ritual. And within hours, it went viral. Now, CERN's response, they claimed that it was just a prank. But here's the thing, CERN is probably one of the most secure facilities in the world. You don't just scroll in and stage a fake sacrifice just for laughs. You would think a stunt like that would require access, planning, and clearance. So if that was a prank, who exactly were these guys trying to entertain? And if it wasn't, then we might have caught a glimpse of something CERN never meant for us to see. Either way, whether real or fake, the fact still remains. The people behind one of the most advanced machines on Earth thought it was appropriate to imitate an occult ritual. And that incident alone should make you wonder what kind of culture is brewing inside of CERN. I don't know if you've seen the video, but I have it right here. Go ahead and take a look.
What the? Fuck! Shit! Fuck!
Okay, this is where things get biblical. CERN, it's not just sitting in Switzerland. It was built near a town called St. Genus Puili. But in ancient times, that land was called Apollyon. This was a site that was dedicated to the god Apollo. And if you know your scripture, that name should ring a bell. Because in the book of Revelations in chapter 9, there's a prophecy about the abyss, which is also known as the bottomless pit, opening up. And here's what John describes. He said there's smoke pouring out like from a great furnace. Then the sun and the air goes dark. And from all that smoke come the locusts. Now, these things don't look like ordinary locusts. He said that these things look like horses prepared for battle. He said they have faces like men, long hair like a woman, teeth like a lion, and tails with stings on them like scorpions. That's scary as hell. I don't want to see that shit. And leading them is their king, the angel of the abyss. The Greek called him Apollyon, and in Hebrew, his name was Abaddon. Now, let's try to connect some dots. You have CERN that's built on Apollyon, the same place that was dedicated to Apollo, and in the book of Revelations, it says Apollyon, the destroyer, will rise when that abyss is opened. Apollo, Apollyon, Abaddon, Apollyon, that's a chain of names that feels a little bit too neat. And then we spoke about this a little bit on part 1. There is the CERN logo. On paper, they say it's just particle tracks. But take a closer look at that logo. You have 3 curves and 3 spirals. Either I'm crazy or that looks like 3 sixes, also known as the mark of the beast. Now, this could all be coincidence. Hell, I don't know. But if you add everything together that we talked about, you have the land, the names, the prophecy, the logo, and suddenly CERN doesn't look just like a lab. I want you to stick with me, because what does that collider do? It basically hurls building blocks of our reality into themselves, smashing particles and peeling at the fabric of matter. And every time that switch is thrown, theorists claim that that's like a key turning, not just a key of science, but the very key that the book of Revelation warned us about. This could be the key to the abyss. And if you notice something, Revelation doesn't say that the abyss might be open. It says it will be opened. The only question is, when CERN turns that key all the way, what exactly is going to come through the other side? Okay, let's step back just a little bit. In Genesis 11, mankind was united like never before. They had one language and one purpose, and their goal was to build a tower so high that it reached to the heavens. They called it the Tower of Babel. Now, this wasn't just architecture, it was defiance. It was mankind telling God that we're going to take heaven for ourselves. And God looked down at him, laughed, and he shut that shit down. Now, he was kind of nice about it. He didn't do it with fire, and he didn't try to hurt them. He just basically confused the hell out of them. He shattered their speech, and he broke their unity. And all that work that they did to that tower, it was for nothing. It was left unfinished. Now, let's fast forward thousands of years. Once again, mankind is united, not through speech, but through science. Now, I want you to think about it. Equations, they don't need translation. E equals mc squared translates pretty much the same in every language. Science has almost become our new universal tongue. And just like the Tower of Babel, all that unity is being poured into one place. You got it, CERN and that Hadron Collider. Now, there's a difference. The Tower of Babel, it reached up to the heavens. But CERN, it pushes inwards into creation itself. Conspiracy theorists say that both of these things are really, really good examples of mankind overstepping. And if CERN is the Tower of Babel 2.0, then the scattering, it might not be languages. It could be timelines and reality itself. And I know this is a scary thought, but this time the punishment might not be confusion, it might be collapse. Now, when you really stop and think about it, CERN, to me, it doesn't really look like a lab. It almost looks like a temple. You have a perfect ring underground cycling energy again and again. It almost feels ritualistic. And I know I'm sounding kind of cuckoo, but it's not just that machine. There are the ceremonies, that statue, that prank video that CERN said was a prank. Now, I get it. To most people, this might be meaningless. But to conspiracists, it's the oldest pattern in the world. They claim that science and magic, they're not opposites. They're actually two sides of the same coin. Now, you had the alchemists of old that mixed chemicals searching for what they call the philosopher's stone. With one aspect of this thing, they were looking to try to figure out how to get eternal life. And another famous thing that they tried to do with this stone was they tried to create gold out of iron. Of course, they never figured out how to do that, but they still tried. And then today, we have today's physicists and scientists smashing particles together, chasing after that God particle. You have different timelines, different languages, different tools, but to me, it's that same hunger. And you want to hear something crazy? Even now, there are actually news reports claiming that CERN has figured out a way to make gold out of iron. Now, it's just kind of weird to me, but why would they want to try to do that? I mean, they were doing it years ago with the Philosopher's Stone. Why are they trying to do that now? I mean, is that science or is it alchemy reborn? I want you to think about it like this. Maybe yesterday's spells became today's equations, and maybe yesterday's rituals became today's experiments. And if all of that stuff that we're talking about is true, then that damn door that CERN is trying to open might open both ways. And whatever it is on the other side is probably something that was never meant for this world. All right, I know we've been talking about some dark stuff, so let me just say this is just all opinion. You have conspiracy theorists that believe this and that. It's like I said, it's all opinion, so we're going to pump the brakes a little bit. Let's give the official story once again. You have the Shiva statue that's just a cultural gift, the sacrifice video that they claim was just a prank, and that damn crazy-ass logo that CERN has is just particle tracks. Sounds pretty reasonable, right? But here's the problem, and I can understand why a lot of these people feel the way they do, because the coincidences, they just keep piling up, and the symbolism is almost everywhere. And when the world's most powerful machine is wrapped up in imagery, destruction, prophecy, and ritual, well, it's no wonder that people don't buy the official story. I mean, hell, at this point, CERN could hold a bake sale and people would think those damn cupcakes look like freaking pentagrams or something. So, what is CERN really? Is it just a lab chasing secrets of the universe? Or is it something older, something darker? What if it's mankind's latest attempt to pry open a door that we were never meant to open? Now, as you know, the Tower of Babel, it didn't work well for those guys the first time. And like I mentioned before, Revelation doesn't say that the abyss might be opened. It says it will be opened. The only question is, when that lock finally clicks open, who or what is going to be crawling out of that hole? Okay, guys, thanks for sticking around. That wraps up part 2 of our deep dive into CERN. But the story, it doesn't end here. Because whether you see CERN as science, ritual, or both, one thing is very certain. Humanity is messing with forces that it barely understands. And if history has taught us anything, sometimes curiosity, it kills more than that damn cat. What do you think about this? Go ahead and tell me down below in the comments. Let me know what you think. Do you think CERN is a science, just a science lab, or is there something darker going on? I'd love to know what you think. Okay, it's finally here. As I promised, here's tonight's paranormal confession. Tonight's confession comes from a guy by the name of Nathan, who swears that he saw his brother standing right there in the same room, but he claimed that he was in another town. So how can his brother be in two places at once? Take a listen. Hey, Stephen. My name is Nathan. Thank you for taking my email. I don't really talk about this much, but after hearing some of the stories on your show, I figured maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe someone out there is going through the same thing that I'm going through right now. All I know is this: if you ever see someone you know in two places at once, you'll never look at them the same ever again. It started about a year ago, just little things at first. I'd be in the living room late at night, zoning out in front of the TV, when I'd see my brother walk past the hallway, clear as day. He had the same hoodie, same way he drags his feet when he's tired. I even called out to him once, asked him if he wanted something to eat. He didn't answer. He just kept walking. The weird part, he wasn't even supposed to be there. I realized he was actually out of town for the weekend. I brushed it off and told myself that I was tired and I was just seeing things. But once you notice something like that, you can't really unsee it. A week later, it happened again, this time in the middle of the day. I caught a glimpse of him slipping into the kitchen, but when I followed, no one was there. A few minutes later, the real him came down from upstairs asking if I'd heard the front door slam. That's when it started sinking in. I wasn't just imagining things, Stephen, but the night that cemented it for me was the knocking. It was late, maybe 2 a.m. I was in bed scrolling on my phone. The house was dead silent, and out of nowhere, 3 slow, heavy knocks on my bedroom door. Not random banging, not creaks. These were knocks. I froze. My brother's room is down the hall, and the sound came from right outside of my door. I waited just a second to see if he would do it again, then I called to him and asked him what he wanted. I didn't hear anything, just silence. I sat there listening, my chest got tight, waiting for footsteps, but nothing. Finally, I worked up the nerve to open that door. The hallway was empty, but the air felt colder, heavy, like something had just been there. I checked on my brother. He was dead asleep, snoring, totally out of it. No way he could have knocked and gotten back into bed as fast as he did. That's when it hit me. Whatever knocked wanted me to think that it was him. And it didn't stop there. I started seeing him where he shouldn't be, standing at the top of the stairs just watching, walking into a room and never coming out. Once, I swear I saw him standing at the end of the hallway, but his face was wrong. It was too pale, like someone was wearing a mask that didn't fit. The real him never noticed. He thought I was messing with him when I brought it up. But here's what messes with me the most. Since all this started, there are times when my brother feels different. He'll say something and then swear he never said it. He'll look at me with this blank stare, like he's waiting for me to slip up. So now I don't know what's worse, that there's something in this house pretending to be my brother, or that sometimes maybe it really is him, and I just can't tell the difference anymore. And Stephen, every once in a while, late at night, I still hear those knocks, 3 of them, slow, heavy, right outside my door. Stephen, I have a favor to ask of you. Can you please ask anyone in your audience if they're dealing with the same thing? I would love to hear your response. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, I hope you really enjoyed tonight's Paranormal Confession, and I want to thank you, Nathan, for entrusting me with your story. If you enjoyed tonight's deep dive into CERN, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share this episode with someone who loves a good conspiracy theory. And also, don't forget, if you have your own paranormal confession that you would like me to read sometime on a future episode, all you have to do is email it to me at relativeperspective76@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your story. Now, if you ever find yourself in Switzerland when they fire up that damn machine, you better make sure your phone's charged, because I know you're going to want proof of whatever comes out of that place. God bless you. We love you. And have a good night. Whew. Man, that was dark. Thank you for watching. Oh, shit. Ah, that messed me. I spilled. Shit. Damn it. I spilled something. Thank you for watching.